Joel, what somebody's watching this and they're concerned or interested, they're on a vegan diet. What are the blood tests to check to see? What's the protein test to check? What's the vitamin? So vitamin D, calcium, protein. These are, if they want to get a blood test, what should they get?
Okay. The answer is no. That the protein in your blood doesn't go down until you're really super deficient or you have cancer or some serious ailment. You can still have the protein in your bloodstreams look perfect and you're still getting relatively too low protein. It's not a good indicator. And calcium in the blood doesn't show your calcium needs either. If your calcium was low in your blood, it's probably because your protein's too low and your calcium binding proteins are low because your diet is inadequate. So for the blood to show a deficiency, you're too deficient, you're really bad, or the blood's not going to show it. You know what I mean? So what I do want people to test in their blood is their omega-3 index. That's what they should be following to make sure they get an omega-3 index above 6, because that's the primary cause. Remember, I said earlier when we started this show that I've been saying for years that all these natural hygienists and raw foodists, what did they die of? What did Shelton die of? What did Kiki Sidwa die of? What did Alec Burton die of? Parkinson's, not cancer, not heart attacks, Parkinson's. Linked to, and what causes Parkinson's? Chemicals, paraquat, rotenone, trichloroethylene, chemicals how did these healthy eating diet get? It's because when you're omega-3 fatty acid deficient, and I have a lot of studies come out this last year showing these toxins go up in the bloodstream. You can't detoxify from neurotoxins when your omega-3 index is low. And we saw it in the 7-Day Adventist Health Study too. The vegans had a 37% increased risk of Parkinson's over the people who are not vegan, the non-vegetarian group. And you should see eating more fruits and vegetables, eating a healthy diet lowers Parkinson's risk. More junk food increases it. Why should vegans have less? We would expect vegans to have less dementia, less strokes, and less Parkinson's because they eat healthier. But they have more because the omega-3 index deficiency discombobulates everything and derails the body's ability to remove chemical toxins that compete for the brain. So the blood test to get is the omega-3 index to see if you should adjust your supplements or your diet at all, to see if you can fix your omega-3 index, because the risk for a vegan is Parkinson's and dementia if they're going to live a long time. And
Absolutely, absolutely. And everybody, I did a whole episode with Joel about this, so I'm going to put the link below to this.
And at that point, we didn't even have the data from the 7-Day Adventist Health Study 2 showing the 37% increase of Parkinson's in vegans. Because people would say to me, well, there's no increased risk of Parkinson's in vegans compared to non-vegans. And I'd say, it doesn't matter if there's no difference. We shouldn't have anybody getting Parkinson's. That would be my argument, right? I'd say it wouldn't matter because why should there be any Parkinson's in a vegan if they're eating so healthfully? We should be beating out the non-vegans by a mile because they're eating all this junk food. But we're not. And the facts are, I was wrong. It's not. And the other part, everybody's wrong. The vegans do have much higher risk of Parkinson's, which is a shame because we're eating so healthily. Why should we get Parkinson's? Because we got to get the omega-3 index checked. That's the most important number to check.
And
your vitamin D. I mean, your vitamin D, the chance of a vitamin D deficiency is pretty slim. You know, I mean, we're all getting sunshine. We're eating, our supplements have it in it, but you can be vitamin D deficient, but it's not as common. What I'm saying, the omega-3 index, the omega-3 deficiency is the most common deficiency in vegans.
Well, is this a long-term thing? Let's say somebody has an omega-3 deficiency long-term, and then let's say they start taking your supplement, your vegan omega-3 supplement, and then it comes back to where it should be on the test.
Right.
Are they okay now, or is it something that has a long-term effect?
That's the problem. You hit it on the nail. There's a recent study came out. It showed personalized. It went to all the data and went through read 38 studies, and there's great literature that came out the last 2 years. It shows that it takes decades. That's the problem. It takes decades of being in the right index to protect the brain from shrinkage and from Parkinson's. You can't just wait till you have symptoms. People say, "Oh, I feel fine. I'm not depressed. I don't need anything to take. I'm great the way I am now." But that doesn't mean anything because you have to have the right to protect against these diseases in later life. You have to have the right level in your brain and in your body for decades, 10, 20, 30 years. You can't wait till you're 80 to start taking these to fix this thing.
On the omega-3 supplement, the oil comes in this little gel cap.
No, not in mine.
Yours is liquid?
Mine is liquid with a dropper.
Liquid with a dropper. But on the ones that it does come in a gel cap, Is that gel cap by doing the massive amount of supplements over the years? Is there any side effects you think to to digestion that cell cap so much over the years?
I don't know. I don't think it's the gel cap that's bad. I think why we make ours and why we make it different is we want people to taste it. We don't want people, and because we keep ours refrigerated. It's the rancidity of fat supplements that are bad. And the rancidity, because it has to do with how many months they stayed at room temperature out of the refrigerator from the date of manufacture. When you buy a product in a health food store or from on the internet, you don't, it's hard to know when that was manufactured and whether that's been sitting at room temperature for a year or two or a year and a half.
What we're told is, isn't the gel cap supposed to slow down the acidity of it?
It might slow it down, but it doesn't prevent it. You know, it's still at room temperature. The oils are at room temperature. We analyze those. We analyze it. We've analyzed them over the years and analyzed them and showed more TBA scores, more rancidity scores, proportional to the months kept at room temperature.
Now, would the results of the fish oil determine if it was rancid or not? So, like, if the oil was rancid, does that mean it's not going to raise some of these omega-3s, or it still can?
It probably still can, but not as much. And also, there's some side effects of taking rancid oils. I mean, they're not good for you to take rancid compounds. The whole point is that our body becomes rancid. We have lipid peroxidase in our own cells that become more rancid when you don't take in enough antioxidants from your diet, and you don't have a good balance of omega-3 on the cell membranes. I'm saying the four main determinants of longevity are nutrient diversity and density of the cell, the toxicity of the cell, how much toxins are there, and of course, the omega-3 index, or the fatty acid balance on the cell membrane, right? All these things play a role. Of course, there's other things we're talking about, other determinants of health. And the fourth one, most important things, which we mentioned already, is body fat percent. However, you've got to be lean. And if you're not lean, you're not going to have a high nutrient density in your cells anyway. And the other determinants like sleep, exercise, happiness, peace in your life, right? Emotional poise, regular exercise and
Sure.
activity. So there's emotional factors regarding good health too, and psychological factors and rest and sleep and good relationships with other people and all these things that play a role. But out of the main nutritional determinants there, obviously getting high levels of nutrients and high diversity of nutrients and having no one nutrient you're low in. You could be the healthiest person in the world, low body fat, healthiest diet in the world. If you're B12 deficient, it's going to catch up with you. It's going to kill you.
Sure.
Deficient in
Now,
one thing, you're going to be in trouble.
if you're, what's the role, especially in young men who are vegans, what's the role of testosterone with the protein? Is there a connection with low protein or low testosterone? What is there a connection with that on vegan diets at all?
Well, not really. There's a connection between low muscle mass and low testosterone, high body fat and low testosterone. You build testosterone to the most favored level by having muscles, right? By having some muscles on your body. The muscles. So you build when your body fat is lower and you're working out, you have better testosterone. That's why we exercise. We lift weights. It helps keep our testosterone good.
And when you're talking about working out, so everyone knows there's different types of working out. There's running, cardiovascular, but then there's muscle building and there's core exercises. And some of everything is great, but the thing a lot of people are missing is the muscle building exercise, especially as they get older. People tend to shy away from that. Is that correct?
Correct. I agree.
Yeah. So, so this is such important. So you don't care if somebody's on a vegan diet, as long as the vegan source, where the protein is coming from, as long as they're meeting the numbers that they should be getting. Is that a good statement?
No, I want the protein to come from plants, not from animal products.
Well, no, I'm
Oh,
saying
they're
somebody
on
on
a
a
vegan
vegan
diet.
diet, you don't care
Okay.
where on a vegan diet they're getting it, as long as they're able to reach their numbers without raising their body fat. That's
Yeah.
the goal. And your
Wheat
diet
germ is
is
high in protein, for example. They could have
yeah,
protein from a lot of hemp seeds are super high in protein.
yeah.
Peas and soybeans are great, high in protein.